somewhere. It was definitely in Massachusetts. It was somewhere, and there was a small band of gals out there dressed as witches paddling, and she sent it to me, showed it to me, and I was like, we gotta do that. I mean, we both love paddling. Halloween is my most favorite holiday. Anybody who knows me knows that. Let's do that, but let's get more people to do it. And the first time we did it was in Orleans, and we just ended up all over social media. There happened to be, the paper was there, people were taking photos. We were on the front of the Sunday paper, and our phones, both of us, rang off the hook. Who are you? What are you doing this for? What's the cause? How do we become a part of it? And it wasn't that long after that, maybe days, Susan and I went for a walk on our fabulous Cape Cod rail trail, and we were just like, we've got to do something with this. Energy is incredible. And, how can we help our community doing something with this? And on that walk, which is on the water, was born.
Hi, and welcome back to Chatham Coffee Tour. Today I have my guest, Jo-Ellen Erickson. Jo-Ellen Erickson is the managing director of all of Cape Cod for Sotheby's International Real Estate. Welcome, Jo-Ellen.
Thank you, Barb. Thanks for having me. I'm giddy.
It's so much fun that we were just talking before we started, and everything we talked about, I was like, we need to say that on the podcast because you have such an interesting perspective on the town and working in real estate, and then some of your volunteer fundraising opportunities, or what should we say, are terrific. So adventures. Yeah. So we want to hear about it all. So first of all, tell us how you got to Chatham.
It seems like just yesterday, thanks to my hair color, but it wasn't. I have been here, I think, over 37 years. I was born and raised in a sweet little town on the Jersey Shore, and it reminds me of Cape Cod, to be truthful. And I went to college at Bentley University, which was Bentley College back then, and we would come to the Cape and work in the summers, and it was the best summers of my life. And right out of college, I had a job. I worked in the city for a handful of years, and I just had a calling to come down to the Cape. I had met somebody significant at that time, and I ended up here. I think I was 25 years old, and I remember all of my friends, which now a lot of them have houses here, saying, "What are you doing? You're leaving the city and you're going where? Why?" And I never looked back. I've had such an affinity for the whole Cape, and I know today we're talking about the most wonderful town, Chatham, but all of it, right? It's just an incredible place, and it's very different than it was. And as you know, you've been here a long time, 30 something years ago, it was a very different time and a very different atmosphere on the Cape, a little quieter, or much quieter in the winters.
In the winter, yes.
Definitely quieter. But I love it. I loved every season. I've loved everything about the Cape. I can't even imagine being anywhere else, which is really funny. It's home to me. I think of the Cape and it's home.
It is home. It's home to me too. I love it. But let me ask you, where did you work in summers on the Cape when you came down, when you were in college?
So you name it. I don't know if I can say, I've never, knock on wood, been fired from a job in my life, except for those summers I was here, because we just decided that going to the beach was far more fun than
priorities
in our little uniforms. But at the time I was living over by Bass River in South Yarmouth, Pine Grove Road, I'll never forget it. And so I worked at various restaurants over there. I actually worked at the grocery store. I think that was like my fourth job, because I just apparently thought going to the beach and playing volleyball and all those other things was far more important. But I learned great life lessons then, I have to say. So that's what I did. I worked I think at the time it was the Pancake Man. Remember that?
Oh, yeah. I think it's still there, the Pancake Man. We can all sing the song for sure.
Oh, my goodness. And I can't remember. There was one restaurant. It was like a steakhouse. And I just remember I looked like a bumblebee going to work in my brown polyester pants and my yellow golf shirt. It was great fun. It was wonderful. Those were the days. All of our friends would come and visit. And
it was so fun.
10 of us renting a house or whatever it was. Oh, my goodness. It was great. It was great times.
It was great times too. And now I have a niece who's having her first summer job. She's just finished her freshman year in college, and she's working here for the summer, and it's her first time really having a summer job, and it's just the best. I think that is one of the nice things about raising kids here, actually, is they have a good opportunity to make money, and good money, in the summer. They work hard. We all worked really hard in those jobs, even if we got laid off. But
it was a learning experience for me. I became very good at interviewing.
Oh, that's so funny. Actually, that must have been interesting for your job now, right? Because you had to now you interview with people, right? And,
that's right.
Yeah.
It was interesting. I can remember being so sad, and I can remember telling my dad, like, life will never be the same. Like those years being here as a college kid were the whole world was your oyster, right? You literally just had to show up for work and try to save a little something. And I did one really well, and the other one not so well, and the other one even worse. I just had so much fun. But I look back, and if the younger me could have, or the older me could have told the younger me to cherish it, like these will be days you'll never forget. I'm still friends with some of the first people I met here. It's so tell your niece, cherish. It's incredible.
I'm sure she will. And actually, I just interviewed Helen Mulholland, who is a friend that I met at Chatham Bars Inn when we worked there way back when. So it is fun to still have friends. And then we both ended up living here year round, which I think is so funny.
And that beautiful resort is still here. I mean, I grew up in a little town, and they had big, huge resorts, or old, like, classic hotels, kind of like Chatham Bars Inn. There was one called the Essex and Sussex. And I can remember as a small girl going there with my parents when they were preparing for, like, the big candlelight ball, and just all the memories of that. And now there's only a couple of those big old hotels left, right? Life has happened and times change, and they've become homes or what have you, or become condos. So it's nice to see some of the inns here and the resorts have been preserved and continue on in their glory. And
they're thriving.
Yeah.
Yes, and offering our kids and nieces and nephews and jobs too, which is terrific. Good way to get through the summer. But you started a store when you came here, so go on with that story.
I've worn a couple different hats. I mean, I went to school to be an accountant, and in 101 I realized I think I talk way too much for this job. So that I changed that major very quickly. But when I came down here, I was trying to reinvent myself. I happened to be in international shipping business, and I was in container freight, believe it or not. My geography really improved for sure with that wonderful job. And then when I commuted from the Cape for quite a few years, and then after that, I realized that the distance was just too much. 2 hours each way, each day. It was just a bit much. So I tried to reinvent the wheel for myself, and I went back to school, and I actually got my electrology license. And I had a great little business, Chatham Electrology, in North Chatham, which is now North Chatham Outfitters, right? So I had a suite in there. And I did that for almost 16 years. And the thing was, it was great in the summer, it was busy, and I had wonderful clients, but in the winter, it was crickets. So after years of that, and my daughter was little, so it was perfect. I could take her to work, or I could, work my schedule around her. By the time she was in kindergarten and kind of branching out into all day kindergarten and school, I decided I really needed to find something that was a little more substantial that could get me through, the quiet winters and what have you. And that's when I got my real estate license. And
Yay.
The rest is another story, and another.
The rest is another story of history, right? We were just talking about how nice it is, and how we are so lucky in this town to have realtors who are also friends. And you had a nice term about it being collaborative, or being a nice
companions.
Yes, industry companions. Yeah, I like that, because we all work together and we all represent different sides of a deal often, but it's really nice to have a good community of people you can call and trust and that work together so nicely.
I think you hit the nail right on the head there. I think the word for me is community. So like what you're doing with this podcast, which I think is brilliant, is you're bringing community members together to highlight and share the beautiful community that they reside in, or they work in, or they celebrate. I feel like that with our real estate community here. We are industry companions. We are all, like you and I were mentioning, talking about earlier, we're all striving for the same thing. Wouldn't it be much easier if we could do it, like a band of collaborated fellas and gals,
Yeah.
It just makes life so much easier, and it really helps our clients as well. So,
And for the most part, I've had very few ever issues with other brokers. It's just been really nice. And the more you know them over time, and you can just call and people will help you out with showings and all of that.
Whether it's at Gibson Sotheby's International Realty, at your firm, or any other, it doesn't matter. We're all industry companions working for, towards the same goal and to support our clients, which is the priority,
And well, the other part is that we run into each other, and a lot of our kids are the same age, and we'll be at soccer together or baseball or whatever it is. And so you are in a big city where you might not see them again. So
that's true. Yeah. And to have that trust and that relationship, like I think you're very relationship driven as well. And I mean, relationships, things are going to hit the fan in life. Find a day it doesn't. I don't wake up and say, something's going to happen. I'm not going to worry about it because we'll just deal with it. Because, we have relationships, and that is such a core part of who I am. I think you can get through anything. You'll find that compromise. You'll find that happy medium even better, I should say, when you have really great relationships, right? Works in our families, works in our communities, works for our nonprofits, works for our businesses. I mean, it's all about relationships. And at the end of the day, one of my favorite things about this area.
well, so tell me, you also have come up with, was this your idea, or how did Witches on the Water start? And describe what it is, who it really raises money for, and you look like, I love your expression right now. For those who aren't going to see this, you just look very much of a sigh of happiness.
Yeah, well, thank you for asking about it first. Anytime we can talk about Witches on the Water, it's just so fun. And I'm not a witch, and not that there's anything wrong with it. I think I get that question if I had $1 for every time I got that question.
Oh, that's funny. Really?
So if I am, I guess I'm a good witch. I don't know. But actually a very wonderful friend of mine, Susan Price, and I came up with it together. And we happened she saw it on Facebook, a small group. And I want to say maybe it was in Fairhaven, somewhere. It was definitely in Massachusetts. It was somewhere, and there was a small band of gals out there dressed as witches paddling, and she sent it to me, showed it to me, and I was like, we gotta do that. I mean, we both love paddling. Halloween is my most favorite holiday. Anybody who knows me knows that. Let's do that, but let's get more people to do it. And the first time we did it was in Orleans. And we put it out on social media, come join us, dress up. And we actually, oddly enough, had 13, which I thought was really funny that there was 13
perfect.
of us.
Yes.
What a funny number. And we just ended up all over social media. There happened to be, the paper was there, people were taking photos. We were on the front of the Sunday paper, and our phones, both of us, rang off the hook. Who are you? What are you doing this for? What's the cause? How do we become a part of it? And it wasn't that long after that, maybe days, Susan and I went for a walk on our fabulous Cape Cod rail trail. And we were just like, we've got to do something with this. Energy is incredible. And, how can we help our community doing something with this? And on that walk, Witches on the Water was born. Like, that's when it was born. And her and I, we just put ourselves in gear. And before you know it, we had an incredible accountant, Bruce Behrens, who's a very well-known attorney who's helped a lot of nonprofits on the Cape, helped us. And in a matter of just months, I think by 6 months, we were officially a 501c3, and we were off to the races. And then COVID happened. It's like, dun, 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 dun. Like, I don't know, cue the symbols, right? And so we were it was like a halt. Like, okay, what do we do now? We can't do anything. And we did a little bit of fundraising. I think we gave a few $100 to a wonderful restaurant in Wellfleet who was giving out meals, right? There was all these wonderful things that came together. And then the next year, 2021, we had our first annual paddle. And every year we raise money for another local nonprofit. And we literally choose the recipient in wonderful witchy style. The board members all get to put their nonprofit option into a cauldron.
Cauldron. It must be a cauldron. Yeah.
And then we have a non-board member. Sometimes it's our highest fundraiser. They get to choose it, and we never speak about who went in. We only all immediately band together for that year's recipient, and which this year happens to be the Family Table Collaborative, which also was born during COVID. And we just work our tails off to raise as much money as we can for that nonprofit, and then we kind of end the fundraising year, so to speak, or come to a head at our annual event, which this year is October 3rd, always at beautiful Oyster Pond in Chatham. And a plug to this wonderful town. It's from day one, from the harbor masters department to our police and fire departments to the town officials. Everyone first was like, okay, wait, tell us more. And from that second on, everybody's been on board to help us achieve our goal to help other local nonprofits. And I think to date, we've raised, over $180,000. And it's just incredible. It's just, it's making waves for others, it's wonderful.
And the fun idea of kind of not being tied to one cause. So you've probably learned along the way about all these different nonprofits along the way. Which ones have been interesting to you, or what did you not know about before?
That's the greatest question, and I think the hardest one you may ask me today. To be truthful, and it's, in real estate where we're like, the right house always works out. You don't ever want to tell somebody that on a day and, a deal falls apart. But can you really think back to a time where the right house didn't come together for them? Probably not. Or maybe there's one or two, but more often than not, the right house and the right person find each other more often, at least in my experience. So it's like that for our organization and our recipients. And hand to goodness, every year, the group that comes out is the group we're supposed to be working with that year. Like last year we had NAMI, Cape Cod, and the Islands. So that is their focus is on mental wellness and mental health and all the wonderful programs. Well, you can't pick up a paper or watch the news when that's not a topic. It's such a heavy topic, and it's so prevalent. And that was our group last year. And Cape Wellness Collaborative, for cancer services, and this year Family Table Collaborative, helping to provide nutritious meals for, during the storm. It was for all, and it was also for all the people that came from here, there, and everywhere to help get our power back on and help dig people out. And and Jenny Wheeler's just, a machine. And actually every single one of these organizations, I don't have a favorite. I learn something new every year. They're all amazing, and they're run, and by dedicated people doing extraordinary things for others. It's mind blowing. I think we're doing a lot, and we are literally an important drop, but a drop in the bucket.
And how nice to have sort of a extra bonus, because I know I've been on nonprofits before, and it's so hard to set your budget. It's so hard to raise it, but it's usually the same every year. So to have kind of a surplus or a little bonus drop of funds to be able to do the things that they've kind of dreamt about and not been able to accomplish, that must be so nice for the groups you raise money for.
I agree. I would think that it has to be. And the lift that we have them do is so minuscule, because we understand they're probably already stretched super thin. And like we did Dream Day one year. I don't know if you know about Dream Day, but it's a phenomenal camp out on the outskirts of, it butts Nickerson State Park. And I had kind of forgotten about Dream Day, to be truthful. And so not only are we raising funds for them, but we also brought them back into the forefront of a lot of people's minds. So the awareness is equally valuable as the funds we're giving them. And the lift, again, back to the lift, what we ask them to do is very minimal. They're already stretched thin, like I said. So we're not asking for much. Walk in the 4th of July parade with us if you're able, be a part of that. and come to the event and be a part of that, and spread our good word and the event and everything we're doing on anything that you're putting out to your people. That's it. And it's so doable. And that's what the feedback we have gotten from the different executive directors and staff over the years was it was well run. You didn't make us do too much outside of what we can do. And look at all these people who know about us now. And, it's just great. It's so great. And someone said to me one time, well, some of these organizations are larger. What about the little ones? And they're all important. Big ones have the same need. It's even bigger. So just because they're big doesn't mean they have a need. And, so we try to, that's why we do it the way we do it, is we put it in and it's the luck of the draw, and it has always been meaningful. I kind of went around on that one, but they're all important and they all were meaningful in the moment.
Oh, and I just love the idea of the bonus for those business, the nonprofits that end up winning, so to speak. Do you put the other ones back in for another year, or?
We can. So that's a great question. It just next year some get written down again. Sometimes it's new, like someone's discovered something new. But we never, and I'm glad that we never talk about it, because you never know. Like no one wants to know they didn't get chosen, but you never know. Every year is a new chance for someone. So
that must be a fun phone call to make. Congratulations, you're what we've chosen for this year.
Well, we have to come up with a new idea. Funny that you say that, because usually, like this year, Jenny Wheeler had me. She was so hilarious. And that made me say to Susan, okay, we've got to come up with a new reveal, because we do that. We say, can we meet? Can we come and see you in person? And anyone who knows us now is like, they're coming. Like, why else would we come? So
right.
We have to come up with something new. Like, I don't know, drop a...
And you haven't found the broomstick that works that you could fly on, because that would really make it
a flyover or something. We have to come up with something that's more, because that now everybody knows when we reach out in January.
You called, and they're going to get
chances are.
That's really exciting. So. And you do some other volunteering too, don't you?
I do. So, and I sit on our board for the Association of Realtors, which is, such an honor to be a part of that think tank, serving our agent population. They do a lot of work. They definitely have everyone's best interests at heart. And then I another one near and dear to me. If I had a lot more time, I'd probably be on anything I could, but the Latham Centers, and that's near and dear to me. Originally, because my youngest cousin, and we have a big extended family, and we're all like siblings. It's just, I'm very blessed to have grown up this way. But my youngest cousin, Drew, has been a resident there since he was 18, and he's in his 30s now. So they're providing, they give him his best life, and I've gotten to know so many folks that work there, and so many beautiful individuals, especially Drew's housemates, that call Latham home, and what they do is just...
Yeah, describe a little bit about what the Latham Centers is.
It's a privilege. So Latham Centers is an organization, so their main campus and headquarters is in Brewster, and it's behind a huge hedge. It's almost like people, when I tell them it's there, they say, oh, I was always wondering what was behind that hedge. And folks come from around the world to learn about what happens at Latham, because their program is so successful. So they have they serve both children, so folks 22 and younger. They're considered, the children's population, and the adult population is once you turn 22 in the state of Massachusetts, you move into the adult population. Individuals living with Prader-Willi syndrome, and that's their main specialty. So most of their individuals are diagnosed with Prader-Willi syndrome, and then
can you just describe what that is?
Sure. In a non-medical term, I'll do the best I can as a layperson, but my understanding is it's a chromosomal, a lack of a chromosome, or a change in a chromosome, that folks living with Prader-Willi syndrome have either developmental issues, they have physical developmental issues, but one of the main characteristics of Prader-Willi syndrome, which is why they need care 24, or observance 24/7, is they have insatiable appetites. So varying degrees of this characteristic, but essentially they need care 24/7. Their Latham has created programs, and their remote living houses for the adults. They have locked kitchens. It's not like a kitchen like you and I. So they try to limit any access for food for our precious individuals. They have an incredible campus in Brewster with an incredible school for the youth, incredible programs for the adults. And it's tough because direct care workers, the wages for them right now is not, it's not ideal. It's really hard to live here on these wages, and we really do need these incredible individuals to care for this amazing population. So anyway, this organization is just so near and dear to me, and they need help. And like anything, if you don't know about it, I probably haven't done it justice either in really describing at great lengths of what this wonderful organization does. But if you don't know about it, because it's not in your world, if you don't know about, know anyone with living with Prader-Willi syndrome, then how would you know? Why would you have to know about Latham? Right? So it's like just being able to spread the word here. And anybody who meets Drew, he's just a magnet. Like, he's so wonderful and so funny, and just makes you really appreciate every little thing in life. He's just a bundle of joy no matter what's happening to him. He's just, and they have good days and bad days, but 9 out of 10 times he's just so happy to be. And it's such a great lesson for all of us. And his friends are amazing. He's living a wonderful life with this wonderful organization. And yeah, it's just, I could go on for the whole podcast. So feel free to edit how much you need to hear about. It's brilliant. It's brilliant. And so actually, Kim Rodriguez, who I'm sure you know, who's a legend in this town, and what she does for organizations blows my mind. And we'll probably talk about the book in a minute. She was instrumental in bringing that together for
Tell about the book. Yeah, let's hear it.
Okay, so I'm going to finish with Latham though. So she actually did a documentary for them. She's done many, as you know, from so many wonderful organizations. And that's actually showing at the Orpheum. It's a private showing on the 17th of June, public showing on the 18th. And if anybody's interested in learning a little bit more about Latham Centers and individuals living with Prader-Willi syndrome, it is incredible. And that will be showing at our beautiful Chatham Orpheum, which is my favorite place to see a movie, in June. And that brilliant human, I hope you get her on your show because she's just incredible. She came to me with this, I have a book idea for Witches on the Water. I'm like, okay, I don't know when you can do these things, but of course you can. And her brilliant friend Karen, who I'm going to leave her last name out because she didn't want too much notoriety. So her brilliant friend Karen wrote it. It has Kim's fabulous photography of all places around the town. And then this incredible individual, Liam Campbell, did the graphic art on Kim's photos. And then Maureen from Bamatine, which is a couple doors down from Kim's store, sponsored the whole book. And it's just the most adorable story, Witches on the Water, Little Witches, Big Hearts. And it just encapsulates, I want to be the little witch. Helping her. She wanted to learn how to paddle, just a little synopsis. And she wanted to be a little witch on the water with Witches on the Water, and her dog Nosset, who's a real dog.
That's so cute.
Oh my goodness. So that book comes out in June, and I don't know where it will be available yet, but anyone could go to witchesonthewater.org and find out more, and follow us on all our social channels on Facebook or on Insta. And we'll let you know where you can get the book. But it's adorable.
Oh, I can't wait to see it. So all the money that's raised from that book will go back to Witches in the Water?
Well, thanks to Maureen and her wonderful gang. Yes.
Wow.
Every penny from those sales will go back to, actually, it goes to the recipient of that year. So this year it will be Family Table Collaborative. If we still have books left over for next year, it will go to next year's recipient. So we try to make it evergreen so we can just keep using it no matter who we're working with.
Oh, that's wonderful. And it really, I just love that you're touching on just a varied group of nonprofits because there's so much need here and there's so many great causes on the Cape. So
There
it's
are,
great to give back.
yeah. And I think, we talked about community real quick, and whether you and I in our professional community, or you and I in our separate and private communities, the word community is endless in the ways we can use it when you describe Cape Cod and when you describe Chatham. And this community has embraced us so much. And other organizations, other nonprofits, and what the Orpheum does, and I know Kim spearheads so much of that, just everything from Heroes in Transition to CWC, you name it, like to
And the
which is on the water,
fishermen, yeah.
you name it. It's endless. You got to roll out the list. That I'm very proud of that. I'm very proud that we get to be a part of that.
It's a
Cool.
very involved community in a lot of things. And certainly, if there's ever any sort of personal or family tragedy, the town really seems to show up for people. And that's been my experience. And it's in a wonderful, wonderful giving back way without, like you said, without any fanfare, just kind of quiet donations, etc. So
I
it's
think
pretty
people
neat.
may think, does that really exist anymore? Is that like, Potter's or Mayersville? I forget the cute little name of we'll call it Chatham. Does that
Hallmark
really
Town.
exist? Yeah, it does.
Yeah,
It
I think
really
so
does.
too.
Like Fourth of July parade almost makes me want to cry every year. Like this really is still in existence, and it's real. And but it's because people work hard to have that, right? To make that. It's not just somebody snaps their fingers and it's like,
And
okay.
Christmas Stroll is another example. Like it's just really fun just to walk through Main Street on Christmas Stroll and see all the businesses open and everybody that you know and people you don't know just walking through the town. It's just, I agree, it's a special place.
Did you know? And maybe well, I hope everyone hears this. That's how many listeners I hope you have. But honest to goodness, the Grinch that walks around, that's me.
Oh, I didn't know that. Oh, that's great. How fun is that?
Incognito. The Grinch ran the turkey trot this year, which was hilarious.
Good for the
And it was
Grinch.
it was cool enough that I didn't die in it. But I think I'm like really like 13 at heart, or maybe even 10. I don't know if a 13-year-old would do that.
That is your Hallmark plot right there, right?
I'm
The
like, well, nobody
Jo-Ellen.
knows it's me.
Well, now they do.
Now they do.
I love it. I love
It's
that
so
you're the Grinch.
fun. It's the kids, like the kid, and how many photos? Like it's so funny. It's like it just brings joy. Even the people that look at you with like the hairy eyeball, maybe like, what is that? You can win them over in like 7 seconds. And I mean, one time we were in the Squire dancing, and at the end of the day, you just made people laugh. You made people maybe for 5 seconds forget about something that they were thinking about. Like,
And they remember, especially the kids, coming to town and meeting the Grinch. That's so fun.
I mean, it's easy. I mean, Santa didn't really like it. I had to get out of Santa's way for a minute, but we became friends. We became industry companions. We became seasonal companions.
I love it. I
It's so
love
fun.
it. And then I always ask, and I'd love to hear your version of like, where is your secret spot in town? Like, where's your go-to place when it's a busy summer day or a quiet winter's night? Where's your like little hideout? Where do you like to go?
And that's another tough question because I probably have like 5.
5 is fine.
Yeah, but you guys, this town has the cutest little trails that I don't think anybody really knows exist. All these, maybe they're conservation trusts, don't quote me. But they're amazing. Just, I love to meander some of the trails that are everywhere. But to me, Lighthouse Beach, to take off your shoes, and I think the scene with all the shoes should be painted over and over again. And you just leave your shoes and you can just go. In the winter, I keep my shoes on, and that's actually my favorite time to walk out there in a cold winter. It's just, and is that hut still there? Is there, did they add a new flag? Is the buoy there? But there's something so magical about that, and the ever changing, sand out there, the cuts. Yeah, I think I think that is definitely one of my favorite things. And I think in the winter with the whipping wind, there's something brilliant about that. I just love it.
It is. If you can make yourself get down there on a cold day, even after the snow, it's such a nice walk. I walked there on Saturday with a friend, and it was just as you're describing. We're like, oh, I haven't been out here in a while. I wonder. And then, oh, did this change? And can you cut through there now? It's just really, because the beach there is always changing, especially the outer bar across from the lighthouse. But the shoreline changes, and it's fascinating year round. I totally agree with you there.
Where's your favorite?
My favorite is a day on the boat and then landing in the sand, just someplace, even just sitting on the boat for a long time and then just pulling over to some sort of beach and just sitting there. And I find that you can get to a beach via boat where in the middle of a busiest day of the summer, it's quiet and peaceful and you're alone. You can find a spot. There's so much beach, especially if you go down Monomoy. And
do you sit there and look left and right and go, I live here? Sometimes I feel like I have to pinch myself. Even on that cold winter day, it's like, we live here, This is incredible.
I feel very blessed all the time.
Me too. Well said, Barb Garside.
Yeah.
Well,
thank you, Jo-Ellen. Well, thanks for coming on, and I certainly appreciate hearing, especially Witches on the Water and all that you do. Thank you for giving back so much to this community. I think everybody appreciates it. And we'll look forward to seeing you with a black pointed hat or perhaps a green one-piece uniform. So maybe with a helmet. You never know. Well, thanks for coming on.
Thanks, Barb. This was just great fun, and best of luck with your podcast, and have a wonderful afternoon.
Thank you. You too. For more local stories, favorite spots, and inspiring people who chose Chatham, follow and subscribe to Chatham Coffee Tour and stay connected. Whether you're already here or dreaming about life in Chatham, this is your place to belong.